Greetings, fellow crafters. It is your Hallow Queen speaking, and I am going to dekit I am. We're going to continue on with the Get to Know Me tag. See you in a moment. Alrighty, let's see if I can arrange this a little bit better. Oh, thank you, my love.
This video is not sponsored by Coca-Cola, by the way.
Although, if Coca-Cola is watching and wants to sponsor me, by all means.
I mean, we already support them a lot.
I should own stock. Yeah. It became impossible there for a little bit for me to get SodaStream syrup, so cases of Coke it was. Alrighty. Okay, so I Am is gorgeous. I'm going to link the video that shows I Am up there, so you can go take a look at it. I'm blown away, but I now have a lot of very lovely round diamonds to dekit. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to go on with this here. Okay. Okay. I need to start with the start here. Where's the start? There's the start. Okay, I'm gonna actually start with the ABs. And they're not gonna go in the normal spot. I'm gonna put them in with the rhinestones under the pink. Hi. Can I help you?
Hi.
Can I help you?
I want to see all the pretty colors that are in this painting.
I don't need you standing there over me in this full video.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I really need to get a second seat in here because she always wants to be near me when I'm doing a video, but there is no room for her. Okay. So, Diamond Art Club gives these a DMC number. It's not really a DMC number. It is Diamond Art Club specific. Some companies, when they do ABs, they will list them with the DMC number that they are, and like dash AB or whatever have you. Some of them don't give them don't call them anything at all, or they have their own names for them. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to mark them as their DAC 1, 2, 9, pale yellow AB. So I'm going to mark them as both. Although that's a pretty crappy. These worked out rather well. I like them a lot. I'm looking forward to kitting up my next project, although I don't know what one that's going to be yet because I've been so focused on getting this one done. But I definitely want to hold on to these because they are gorgeous. And I've seen so many instances of people using existing ABs that they've either purchased for this or are using up from old kits. I should probably indicate these are round. I'm going to put them in with the 3mm rhinestones, even though none of them are probably 3mm. I am not going to try and measure down to the 1/10 of a millimeter. I'm just not doing that. 3mm is close enough. Rounds are technically 2.8mm, the regular drill size. So I call the rhinestones that are the same size as regular 3mm because I don't have anything that measures down that small, and I'm not busting out scientific things. Okay. So that one's empty. Okay, so DAC 137-R. I'm just going to call it electric blue. And I'm going to date myself again, but every time I see these and I think about them as electric blue, the late 80s song Electric Youth runs through my head. To the point I had to go actually look it up. And I'm tempted to link it in the video because probably most of my audience is going to go, what? Need my scissors. Which are in the other room. I think I've established that I am a music nerd well enough at this point. But yeah, Electric Youth, I keep hearing in my head. It's a really, really catchy Debbie Gibson song. It's probably one of the ones she's best known for. And she's either early 90s or late 80s. I think she's late 80s. Which means I would have been an actual kid. And there's a little bit of schmutz in the bottom of these. Bottom of that one. Okay. I think I'm going to have to tackle these lids with Goo Gone, because while that sticker was lovely and made my life easier when kitting up, dekitting it is a bit of a mess. Okay. DAC 137-R and electric blue ABs. Okay, so everything else is going to go in the blue section here because that's where the DMC numbers are. And right now they're taking up a whole spot. They may continue to move over. I do have room for them to do that. Okay. Very thirsty today. It's ridiculously hot. Okay. What originally got you interested in your current field of work is question 52. I know I've done 51, worst job I ever had. What originally got me interested in my current field of work, I think I went over that. It was when I was working at Timmy's. Just in case I didn't. Tim Hortons, for those of you who may not be aware, is like a Dunkin' Donuts. It's a donut and coffee shop. And back when I worked there, which was 2001. Yes, I'm old. I ended up working in the kitchen where I was taught, I do not have 312. Okay. Where I was taught how to do very basic cake decorating. Mostly shell borders and rosettes. That was about it. Then when I had kids, I found out I could take courses in how to do more. So I did. Took some Wilton courses and kept it as a hobby for many years until my anxiety made it impossible to go back to my last job, which was complaints for Starwood, later Marriott hotels. Marriott bought out Starwood back in 2016? Yes, it's just after my father died. 2016. Okay, so these are 312-R. Did not have any of that, which means I actually need a blue card, of which I have exactly one. And so when I left that job, I realized I couldn't do it May or June. And I was going to have to put my kids into day camp, which, with my youngest medical issues, was going to be fantastic. So I didn't look for a job right away. I knew once we got into the end of the summer that a lot of basic customer service jobs and the like were going to start opening up because people had to replace their students who were going back to school because school starts here right after Labor Day. So 312, and I use this marker. Okay, so this one is completely done because it only goes up to 310. 312, baby blue, very dark. Well, then it's not really baby blue, is it? Okay, whatever. So I applied to pretty much any job that showed up in my Glassdoor Indeed search that I could walk to because I don't drive, including working as a cashier at the grocery store that I most often frequented, the Real Canadian Superstore, which is a division of Loblaws. And when they found out I could diamond paint, they had the most ridiculous. I was thinking a cashier job, handling cash, whatever, that'll work until I find something better. And 321 I do not have. So they had this ridiculously long application, and among the 800 questions, I wish I were exaggerating, among the 800 questions, I'm exaggerating, but not a lot, was what 3 departments would you like to work in? So I said, well, if I had to pick 3 departments, probably pharmacy, grocery, and bakery, because I've always been into baking and I can cake decorate. And so I got a call. They were one of the first places to call me. And they asked me point blank why I had picked bakery. And so I explained that I love to bake and I had taken several courses for cake decorating and enjoyed it. And they went, oh, we really, really need people in bakery. Would you be interested in switching to that instead rather than cashier? I said, yeah, absolutely. That was not, I think actually I was asked why I didn't apply for bakery, and I told her that I hadn't seen a bakery opening, or I would have. And she asked me if I wanted to switch over to the bakery. So yeah, I got hired on there as a bakery associate rather than, I have since moved over to Walmart. That's an entirely another conversation. But yeah, what got me interested in it was a general interest in baking, and working at Tim Hortons when I got the first taste of it, I really enjoyed it. So, didn't enjoy working at Tim Hortons. So 326, 318 is in there between those two. Nope. Let the 318 go ahead. There we go. All right. And since taking those courses, like, I enjoy watching cake decorating shows and stuff like that because I know how difficult it is and what is and what isn't difficult. What's my favorite part of the workday? Oh no. Next one is, have you ever had a side hustle or considered having one? I've tried MLMs. Side note, don't try MLMs. Don't do that. That's not a side hustle. That's a scam. I was with Avon for a while and I did Pampered Chef, and no, would not recommend. 0 out of 10 stars. 521. Oh, I didn't mark down 321. That's one that I have. That's not a side hustle. That's a scam. Hashtag do not recommend. I wouldn't mind this being a side hustle at some point, actually monetizing doing the YouTube thing. That would be cool. I was going to have a side hustle, and I may still, yet. There was a factory here in town that was going to be doing, that needed somebody to come in and basically do the wellness check for their people as they came in the door. And I think they ended up actually getting some technology that did it instead, rather than hiring somebody. But I was going to be coming in. I was only going to be required to be there for an hour and a half, but they were going to pay me for 3 hours because 3 hours is the minimum shift here. And basically, I would wear full PPE. I would be in a tent just in front of one of the doors, and I would ask a bunch of questions to the employee. They would answer. And then I take their temperature, and if all of the questions were answered in the affirmative or in the negative, and the temperature came out all right, then they could go in. If not, I had to get a supervisor to come and do stuff. There was a possibility of them possibly waiting and trying again, especially on a hot day, if they failed the temperature screen. But yeah, I was geared up ready to do that, and then they didn't end up needing me, which sucked because that was going to be $20 an hour, 3 hours a day. So $60 a day for an hour and a half's work. That was going to be pretty sweet, but they didn't end up needing me. Okay, so 327. Okay, I do have 327, but it's an asterisk. It's actually really close. Maybe a little dark. I am going to make a new bag for that, though. The asterisks are my best guess at ones that didn't have DMC codes. So someday I will go through and decide whether or not they actually are that color and combine them or find a better fit. But for right now, I'm going to keep them separate. So I would like this to be a side hustle. But I don't think I'm very good at the day-to-day business stuff, to be honest. So I've considered doing crafting as a side hustle, but I'd have to get a lot better at some of the things I do, and I don't think there's a lot of call for finished diamond paintings as a side hustle. No, you can put the dash R on. Yeah. That is the worst R ever. Okay. 327. You go in there. Okay. So take this off. I have also considered doing cake decorating on the side, but I'd probably have to go through my contract that I have with Walmart at the moment, make sure there's no non-compete clause or anything like that in there, and I think I looked into it when I first started taking the wilting courses, and here in Ontario I'd have to have access to a commercial kitchen, and that would drive my costs up quite a bit, so I don't think it would end up being worth it. What's your favorite part of the workday? Favorite part of the workday would be after setup. So I usually get there, I check my cheesecakes and fill them as necessary out of the freezer. And then I check to see if I have any orders. And then I go get my icings and stuff and fill up the bags. And fill up the bags as needed, grab the bucket of colors out, and I fill up the white and chocolate bags. And then I start actually decorating. So I would say probably the actual decorating part. Doing the orders and doing the orders if there are any, which we're not taking orders right now because we're having trouble getting product in. And doing the custom cake, and doing the counter cakes and any backups. So the actual decorating part would be my favorite. The cleanup part, not so much. The setup, not so much. The actual decorating part would be my favorite. What's the best career decision you ever made? I've made a lot of bad ones. Oh, that's the next question. The best career decision I ever made? Leaving Superstore. Leaving the Superstore. I left the Superstore because I fell out with the manager that I was working under. 336. Cool. They are very, very similar. So I will just pour those in there. There's a lot of these left, but that's good. There we go. Scrambling for two diamonds. Meanwhile, the carpet underneath where I work is probably littered with diamonds, especially where the kids have helped me work. They are constantly dumping their diamonds. I've reversed these labels. $36. And the dash R is supposed to go in the bag. Bad, bad queen. 327, 336. Okay. So the best career decision I ever made, apart from leaving Starwood, which I actually still, I am a little bit vindicated on that, although not, because I said from minute go when Marriott bought it that we were probably going to get shut down. And just recently they announced that they are shutting down the call center here. And while I feel a bit vindicated that I saw it coming, and I did see it coming several years in advance, I know a lot of people who work there, and I feel bad for them because it's a decent paying job, and those are in short. It's a decent paying full time job, and those are in short supply around here. And that place employs like 700 people. I think some of them who are in more specialized roles are still being kept on, but the majority of them are being let go, and sometime between now and September. So, yeah, it really sucks for them. So, my thoughts that place was going downhill as far as all of that goes, I'm a little bit vindicated. But at the same time, I do feel bad for those people who are losing their jobs because that is not cool. Even though it was not a job I could continue doing. So, it even affects people at my workplace because my colleague, the other cake decorator, her son? Yes, her son. Is it her son or is it Jody's? I don't remember. I think it's her son who works at Starwood. And that really sucks that he's losing his job. Okay, so I don't have 444. I don't think. No, I don't. So, that was a good career move on my part that I left when I did and got myself established before they got shut down. But probably the best move I made was quitting at the Superstore and moving over to Walmart. It's literally a lateral move as they are right next to each other. But the Superstore, I was hampered with a useless union, and I'm not bashing all unions here, just this one, where I was making minimum wage when I started. I managed to hit enough hours while I was working there in less than a year to hit 2 raises, but they were all of nickels at a time. But I was paying $18 a paycheck in union dues, which, when you're making minimum wage, is kind of painful. And the manager and I had a falling out. She started putting everyone but me on the cake decorating, including kids who didn't like it, one woman who shouldn't have been doing it because she had a repetitive stress injury and her doctor told her not to, and a bunch of other stuff going on, and she didn't care. She did not care. And then she would like gaslight me. Oh, well, you've had plenty of cake decorating shifts. It's like, no, it's been over a month since I've done it. Writing on a cake when somebody asks me to is not the same as having a cake decorating shift. It's not. Or she'd guilt me because I ended up having to take an extra week off when I had surgery due to some complications. Well, I would have put you on cake decorating, but you weren't here. Uh-huh. Or I'd come in for what was normally the cake decorating shift, and she'd tell me, no, that wasn't the cake decorating shift. But then when I'd come in on a later shift, the person who was on that shift, the 8 o'clock shift, would be doing the cake decorating. So it was a lot of mind games, and I finally had enough, so I decided to sit down with an assistant manager, and I picked the exact wrong day to do it because the one assistant manager that I didn't get along with very well. I hadn't had a whole lot of interaction with her, but she was not a warm woman. And she basically told me to sit down and shut up and take it, and I said, okay, I think I'm going to not work here anymore. Less than a month later, I started working at Walmart for 65 cents more an hour with a larger minimum number of hours and a better boss and a better manager and a better assistant manager. A better department manager and a better assistant manager. Because it goes, as far as I can figure out, it goes department manager, assistant manager, co-manager, store manager. I think. I don't know. I don't pay attention. I sit in the corner and I do stuff. 4:45. I'm almost out of bags. I'm almost out of these little white guys. And I am out of blue guys. So I think I'm gonna have to pause this video, let the camera charge, and go do some cutting and get myself some more bags. So I will be back in a little. I will be back a little later. For you, it'll be just a second, but I will be back. So it's been a couple hours. Went to Dollarama, picked up some more bags, picked up the old labels that I used to use. I'm going to save these ones to address my 28 count containers because they're smaller, and use these on the bags because they're bigger. And I think the Avery ones are more expensive. Probably. They're name brand. These ones are generic dollar store fare. Okay. So, best career decision I made was leaving the Superstore when I did. Probably tied with leaving Starwood when I did, considering they're closing down now. Worst career decision I ever made? Worst career decision I ever made was right out of college, not moving heaven and earth to get my certifications. I went to college to be a computer systems technician and took all the courses to get my MCSE, CCNA, a whole bunch of other fun letters, A+. And I went broke right out of college. And one thing led to another, and there was no money to be had. Brian was out of work, I was out of work. It was bad. Starting up a new can because it's been a few hours. And I didn't get around to going to get my certifications. And one thing led to another. And I went to get jobs in my field, and at first I couldn't find anything. I didn't have any of my certifications. And then it was a case of I needed money to get the certifications, but I needed a job with, I needed the certifications to get a job to get money to get the certifications. It was one of those fun circular things. You know how those are. So, long story short, I never got them. And at this point, because of how fast the computer industry works and runs, I might as well start all over again. Because shortly after, I should have begged or borrowed the money or done something to get them. And I did not. And I have paid for it. I did get one job in my field. They conveniently got rid of me when I unexpectedly ended up pregnant. But of course, it wasn't because I was pregnant. And while I was off on mat leave from the job I picked up in the interim, the 2008 housing bubble burst, and a whole lot of companies laid off a whole lot of people. So I suddenly had a lot more competition with a lot better experience and certifications and the like than I had. So I never worked in that field again. So that was probably my dumbest mistake, was not moving heaven and earth to get those certifications right when I had the opportunity. Oh, I forgot something. Whoa! Okay, let's not dump everything on the floor.
Are you
Hi.
recording a video?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Figured out why it wasn't working before. There was a big knot in it. I was holding it down.
Okay. This is. Oh dear.
I am a magical fairy.
Oh dear. It's a little ostentatious. You're making random noises in my video. Please do not. I forgot that I picked up this little trash container. Because I'm always saying I should have a trash container. But that will work as a very obvious trash container, and I would bling that up with some drills and stickers and stuff. While I'm filming and kitting up or kitting down. Okay. $4.98. Do I have a $4.98? I have one. I have a check for $4.98 on here. Is it? It is a $4.98. They look kind of like different colors. Yeah, sometimes that'll happen. The die lots will be different. I don't think I'm going to worry too much about it. This one's a little more brick and that one's a little more pinky red, but yeah, you kind of can tell the difference where they transition. Oh well. I'll go with it. $4.98. I didn't say in the other video, I started on June 24th with IM, and it was today's July 15th, and that's when I finished it. I could have actually finished it yesterday, but I was trying to pace myself because I was kind of racing through it. Okay, number 10 is 550. Do I have 550 in here? I do not. Okay, so I need Sharpie. $5.50 dash R. do you consider yourself good at networking? No. If I was good at networking, I hate asking for things. I hate asking for things. I am not good at that. Some people are very, very good at networking and quid pro quoing and all that. No. No, I'm very bad at asking for things, including asking for help. Very, very bad. I'm also bad at recognizing opportunities sometimes. It's like, oh, that probably would have been a good time to talk to somebody about X. Yeah, no, I'm not good at that. Not good at that. I'm not good with people in general. But what career advice would you give your younger self? Get your goddamn certifications. Get them. Move heaven and earth to get them. Whatever you have to do, get them. You can take loans from somebody and pay them back, but get them. Do you believe in having a 5-year plan? I do. However, as they say, when man plans, God laughs. I would never have suspected that 5 years ago, I would never have suspected I would be here working on a YouTube video for a craft I had not yet heard of, which I had not. I've only become aware of diamond painting in the last year or so. Working at Walmart making cakes. No, I would never have suspected that would be something I would be doing. So while, and I mean my oldest was not planned. She was the product of a relationship that had celebrated 10 years together. So it wasn't that she was not planned, but she was definitely not planned for right then. So 550, oh, that's a Sharpie. Use this. I can use Sharpie in here, but probably not wise. Okay. All right, 600. Doesn't appear that I have that in there. So 600. We'll just double check because sometimes I've forgotten to mark down what I have. 597, 603. Okay. So, while I do think it's a good idea to have an idea where you're going, I think you always kind of have to build some tolerances in there. No. What do you need, Caitlin?
I'm just watching you.
Just what?
Are you recording?
Yes, I am. So that was 600.
Hi.
They can't answer you back. They haven't seen the video yet.
I know. If you didn't know, my name's Caitlin.
They know. And if you ever see funny comments from a Princess April on my videos, that's also Caitlin.
Yes. Cause I'm her daughter.
And she's an April baby.
Yes. That's why I named myself Princess April.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on YouTube has to have a YouTube name.
Do they now?
Well, that's what I think.
Okay. Okay, so we've got 600. And I have 603, even though it's not marked on there. and I have 606 here. Do I have 606 here? I have 666 here. 613, 603, 613. Okay, nope. So we'll do 606. Yeah, so as far as a 5-year plan goes, you kind of have to build in some tolerances, because I guarantee you, with the way this year is going, that everybody in 2015 who made their 5-year plan did not end up where they figured they were going to. There's sometimes that's just the way it goes. And that is the wrong marker.
Are you still dekitting or are you kidding?
I'm decitting,
Why are you putting tags on them?
because I'm holding on to them in case I get a painting that doesn't have enough diamonds in it of a specific color. Or in case I want to do a project with these extra diamonds.
Yeah, like make a cute little butterfly. I love butterflies.
I know.
You know, if someone calls themselves princess, you know they're gonna be a girl. And for me, that's correct.
I don't know, there's a whole bunch of people out there who call themselves drag queens who would probably disagree with you. Oh, I don't have 603. That might be one of the ones I kind of messed up.
Could you tell what I just said?
Did I put that in with the wrong marker? Caitlin, I'm trying to do a tag on my YouTube video, and you're just making random noises. 666 I have. Do I have one that's... Yes, I do. So that's the one I thought was 666, and that is one that is actually 666. And I have not taken the labels off these ones. Let's do that.
Get the label. Take the label.
Caitlin, go find something else to do.
Okay, bye. I'm leaving.
I already narrate what I do. I don't need her doing it too. Yeah, so like everybody in 2015, I guarantee, did not end up in 2020 doing what they figured they were going to do. Nobody predicted, well, we may have predicted that there would be a pandemic, but nobody predicted this. This is definitely new to everybody. Okay. I think I said it before, but yeah, the ones with the stars are ones that I've guessed are that color based on my chart. I may go through it at some point and either combine them or rectify any mistakes I've made, but here we go. 666, everybody's favorite red. Okay. How do you separate your work life from your home life? I go to work, that's my work life. I come home, that's my home life. My job is fortunately not one that follows me home. I go there, I set up, I decorate cakes, I clean up my mess, and I go home. It doesn't bleed over much, which is definitely a plus. Are you looking forward to retiring, or do you plan to work as long as possible? I remember reading a meme once about boomers talking about how I'm never going to retire, and then millennials looking at it going, I'm never going to retire. I feel I'm in the latter category. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to retire. 726. Let's see that there. 725, 727, no 726. My sheet says I have 720. Oh, okay. So Sharpie. 726, 726-R. I would love to retire and sit around and putter with all of my stuff. I would hope that I would retire in decent health so that I can enjoy my golden years and be able to ideally travel, but I mean, let's be real here. I'm 40 and working at Walmart. But I have the sneaking suspicion that I am going to work until I die. Not because I want to, but because I won't have the funds to retire. I do put money away in a retirement fund. It's not very much. It won't be enough for me to live on. Unless I get a much higher paying job in the soonish to start really socking money away. I will probably never retire. I will probably always have to work. And that's very sad. Have you ever had imposter syndrome? Absolutely, all the time. Even I had imposter syndrome when I worked at Starwood. I had imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, for those of you who may not be aware of what that is, it's the feeling that you are not living up to your job. I even have imposter syndrome when it comes to this. I think that's very much a function of whatever is causing all of my depression and anxiety is I feel like I'm going to be found out a lot. That I don't really know what I'm doing and I'm going to be found out. When I worked as a dispatcher, I had imposter syndrome because I was working for my daddy's company. So I wasn't working there on any kind of merit or anything. I was a living, breathing body who could work a computer and they needed people, so that's why I was there. I definitely was not the best dispatcher anyone had ever seen. I tried, don't get me wrong. I had maps and I did my best to try and maximize efficiency. 740 I don't have. Okay. And my drivers loved me, but part of that was also because it was my father's company and they'd known me since I was tiny. And because they knew that I was genuinely trying to do right by them. Which not all I have imposter syndrome when it comes to cake decorating. I'm doing very, very basic stuff. And I'm doing it well, and I've never had any complaints. But then every once in a while somebody comes in wanting like Cake Boss or how to cake it level cake decorating. It's like, dude, this is a Walmart. We don't have half of those materials. And you're paying $10 for your cake. Seriously. You might want to lower your expectations just a touch. $7.41. So I don't get that as much where I am now. When I worked at Starwood, it was very much all the way along fake it till you make it. And I think that was part of the reason why it was so toxic for my anxiety, was you were expected to handle things with a certain aplomb that you really didn't have. But you were supposed to kind of conduct yourself as if you had it. And the longer it went on, the more since Marriott went on, the less the quality of life kept dropping for the employees. And it meant more panic attacks on more calls. And no, it was not cool. Like, I'm going to get found out that I don't actually know what the hell I'm doing.
Mommy, do you still have some of your candy?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Did you eat all your candy?
Yeah, my sister still has some left.
Well, it's not your sister's fault that you went through your candy faster than she did.
Next time I want that candy.
Okay, next time you'll get that candy. I'll remind you.
Okay, thank you.
$7.42. I do have a $7.42, which is significantly different from that. So yeah, I don't know how well my guesses worked. There's definitely a lot of orange in the painting I just did. So yeah, a lot of insecurities and imposter syndrome. That's definitely been a hallmark for me. What do I think of workaholics? I don't think that's healthy. But I mean, a lot of us do things that aren't healthy. Case in point. We all latch on to what gives us, what we feel gives us meaning. Okay. Probably the most abundant color that I have left, and probably was the most abundant color in the painting, 814. Let's see if I have that in here. Do not. I have 815 though, which is in here. Okay, so. So, yeah, I don't think it's healthy, but I mean, we all do things that aren't healthy. What qualities do I look for in a boss? Somebody who has respect for their employees. Like, I've had a couple of really good bosses in the past. My boss at Starwood that I had the longest there was great. My boss at My first boss at Superstore was great. My first boss. My boss at Walmart is great. And I think probably the best thing about the boss is they treat you like a colleague. They treat you like an adult. Like, ultimately, they do have authority over you, but they don't sit there and have to wave that authority around. Like, my boss at Walmart is a very motherly figure, but she, like, if it wasn't, she's going nuts because COVID is not allowing her to give her signature hugs. That was one of the first things she asked me when I came in to start working with her, is how do I feel about hugs? And I'm a hugger. I'm good with hugs. $8.15. That's another asterisk one. That's pretty darn close. Still. Oh yeah, originally I was doing them all in yellow because I didn't have any white cardstock, but I picked some up. But she feels it necessary to train everybody on everything. She wants everybody to know how to do everything so that we don't have to, so that if somebody asks us about something, we're not going and not knowing what they're talking about. Oh hey, random piece of garbage. Oh, it's in there now. She wants everybody to be trained to do everything and wants us to all work together as a team, and she's the kind of boss who will take suggestions. Like if I say, okay, I'm going to go work on this, this is what I'm going to do, she will respect that unless she sees something that needs to be done more. So if I say, I want to start with doing the cake arounds, which I haven't been able to do. Cake around is a single layer 8-inch cake surrounded by 12 cupcakes. And the only problem with them is because they're in a huge platter, when somebody comes along and grabs one, it leaves a huge hole in the cake counter that needs to be filled. So if I come out and say, you know what, I'm going to start with cake arounds, and she goes, actually, the 6-pack cupcakes are really low and they sell really fast, I would start there and get those built up and then work on the cake around. And if I agree with her, I'll say so. If no, like, basically, a good boss treats you with respect. And a good boss will get down on you when you're not doing something right. She had some criticisms about how I was doing my balloons. I tended to make them smaller because when I learned how to do them, because I'd never done balloons until I worked at the Superstore, the icing at the Superstore was so thick that you couldn't put a whole ton of pressure on it at once. So I made the balloons fairly small. She asked me to try and make them bigger, and I did, and it went fine. The other major complaint they've had with me is attendance, but that's due to a lot of medical issues. So I'm trying to get them addressed, and they're being really good about it, but do you have a professional mentor? If not, do you want one? No, I definitely do not have one. That would be nice, though. to have somebody in my field who knows more than I do to help guide me along, that would be great. Oh, what am I doing? I think I probably have 823. Well, I'm guaranteeing I have 823. Yes, I have 823. And I'm going to have a lot more 823. Oh. It's like there's a little bit of liquid or something in that one because it just decided to all come out at once. Oh, no. Get in the bag. Just clunk. I would love to have a professional mentor. I would love to have somebody in a teaching role. That would be ideal. So if I could get into a bakery where there is somebody where there is ye wise old decorator who is getting close to retiring, who wants to pass on their knowledge, and I get to learn at their feet. And really hone my skill.
Caitlin's second bubble gun also doesn't work.
I'm beginning to think Caitlin just doesn't work.
Even I've tried using it. It doesn't work. I did everything the instructions on the back say to do. And I realized that the bubble liquid that is in the bottle goes up the tube and then just has a complete blockage.
Okay, I might be able to work with that. Okay, I'm still filming.
Okay.
Okay. I've got this. I've got multiple bags going on here. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Alright. 9:06. No, do not come in here just to hang around. 9:06. No. 8:40, 9:18. 9:06 is not on there. Caitlin, that's not what you said to me. Kids. One more. Get in there. 9:06. Oh dear, bubble gun angst from my children. Okay, so 9:06. 8:40. Behind the bag for 8:40. I'm gonna have to expand. Not a bad thing. 9:17. I have moved completely off this page. So let's take the stickers for 823 off. Do I have a work best friend? I haven't been there. Most people who've worked in the bakery / deli, because it is the same department, have been there for quite a while. I am probably most similar to the other decorator, not just because we share skills, we also share interests. She's big into horror and Halloween, and she's the one who turned me on to diamond painting. Hey, Selena. What?
We figured out why it's not working. The hose is in a different position on the back of on the back of the packaging than it is on the actual toy.
Okay, I will look at it later.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is all done. Alright. 8:14, 8:15, 8:23 I already had. 9:06 I just did. 9:17 plum medium. I don't think I have it. 9:06. I have 9:18. Do not have 9:17. Okay. Okay. So I wouldn't call her my best friend, but she and I are of similar ages. We have similar interests. We get along really well. We don't work together all that often because I am her relief effectively, so I work when she's not working. Although lately, because there's been some shortages in manpower, we have been working at the same time more often. Because she's been filling in for other people, seeing as she is full-time and needs full-time hours. And they've been just upping my hours and making me a cake decorator. Which I'm not fussed by. That bothers me not at all. We can do that. I'm good with that. I think when I started, she figured she was going to go back to doing cake decorating kind of on the side while she did other jobs on the rest of hers. But I am only part-time, and they have, because of my attendance issues, which I've been getting a lot more migraines of late, and they've been a lot more intense of late, so that is one of the reasons why I've been having issues with attendance. But the world is stress. Okay. 939 is not even on this page. It's 917. 939, blue, very dark. I've got I don't have an official bag. Huh. Okay, so nope, Sharpie. 939-R. No, I've got a yellow hitchhiker. Oh well, figure that out later. Are you into after work happy hours? Well, when you're open from 7 in the morning till 10 at night, there really isn't an after work happy hour. That we don't all work the same hours. We have people coming in as early as 4 a.m. and leaving as late as 10. So sometimes we don't even see all of each other, let alone have an after work period. In general, the idea of going out for a after work happy hour doesn't bother me. I don't think I would do it very often because I have family and everybody at home. And I definitely would not do it right now, since going to bars and that sort of thing. Is not a great idea. But we did have what I thought was actually a Walmart Christmas party, and apparently it's not. It's a Jody Christmas party. She invites all of, Jody is my boss, and she invites all of her employees, past and present, to a Christmas party, and everybody gets together and chit-chats and stuff like that, even people who've long since moved on. So that was fun, and I liked doing that. 9:47. 9:47. I just got a possibly bag. That's actually very red. 9:47. Sometimes I guess right, and sometimes I don't. That's why I think I'm going to wait a while and do a bunch more that have DMC numbers before I start trying to go through all of the ones that I guessed on to move them around. How do you motivate yourself in a career? I get out of bed and go to work because I have to get out of bed and go to work or I don't eat. And I can't buy diamond paintings. If I don't have funds. So I go to work and try to make the work as pleasant as possible because I have to be there. Sometimes it's really hard to motivate yourself. Like this whole thing right now where we're dealing with supply shortages is really hard to get up and get going in the morning. When you know you're going to be going in and people are going to be mad because you don't have certain things in. And there's really not anything you can do about that because you put the order in and they just don't show up. 3371 is not on this. So I've got to switch to the next page. Oh. Oh, I've got some of them out of order here. Okay. Okay. 3371 is the black brown. That's my Tetris block. 33, 30, 71, 37, 3362, 3607. So no, I don't have 3371. So lately, what I've been motivating myself in my career is that I can't really go down anywhere. There really isn't a down. There's only an up. And as sad as that may sound, I really only can move forward. So 3371. 3371-R. It's the best work and career advice I've ever. The next two questions are the best career advice you've ever heard and the worst career advice you've ever heard. The best career advice I think I've ever heard is most industries are incestuous, meaning they tend to all hire within the same circles, so don't burn bridges. Because just because you didn't like said person X and didn't get along with them, you may find that that person knows the person at the next job that you have and is friends with them, and if you badmouth them, then you're going to end up in trouble. The worst career advice I've ever heard? I don't know. I can't think of anything there. When I started my current job, what most surprised me? How efficient Walmart was. Now, I see some cracks in it now. But at both the Walmart and the Superstore, we had these devices called Telzons. They're pricing guns that you've seen. Not the ones that spit labels, but the scanning ones. They're effectively like a small tablet or phone that they attach onto a gun. And at Superstore, if you hadn't been there 5 years at least and were full-time or whatever have you, never, ever, ever, ever touch those guns. Nobody ever touches those guns. They're expensive and they're expensive and worth more than you are, you don't touch them. The only time I ever picked up those Telzon guns was to hand them to somebody else. We were not allowed to use them at all. They were only for management and very senior employees to use. When I got to Walmart, I got handed one and said, okay, you're gonna learn how to use this on like my first or second day. Everybody uses them. Everybody has logins for them. Some logins have more access than others, but everybody has logins for it. Everybody uses it for the day-to-day tasks. If you're thinking about maybe pulling something that should be on the shelf, you scan the shelf label and it'll tell you if we have any more in the back. And in theory, at the very least, it'll tell you if we have any more in the store and where those would be located. This was 3607. Was it? Oh shit. Hang on. Because if it's 3607, I already have a bag for that. $26? Yeah, 26 is 3607. Those are very different colors, and that's not even, that must have been from another color. Well, I'm gonna make, I've already got another bag, so I'm just gonna 3607-R. very different colors, even though they're the same. I thought people exaggerated about that, but apparently not. Okay. So we definitely have 3607. Next one is 3755. 3731, 3733, 3747, 3770. Yeah, so in theory at Walmart, when a shipment comes in, you will take a box, decide where it needs to go, mark it with the quantity, scan it into your gun, and tell it what bin you're putting it in, if you're putting it in the back. Or if you're not putting it in the back and putting it out on the floor, then you don't bin it. So in theory, 3755. So in theory, if we're getting low on, let's say, lemon meringue pies, I can go and scan the lemon meringue pie shelf label, and it'll tell me how many I have on the floor, which should be right in front of me, although it can be in multiple places. So technically, it should be at least close to the number in front of me and any other places it might be displayed. It should tell me where it's displayed, although in our department that's not always on. I've seen that more when I was bouncing around to other departments, how that works. And if we have any in the back, how many we have in the back, and what bins they're in. So I can go into the freezer and look up, say, bin 4-2, and look for the shelf label that says bin 4-2, and find the box of the lemon meringue pies there, if that's where the gun says they are. Now, that relies very heavily on the people who are doing their job to have done it and have done it correctly. And sometimes there's no room in bins to bin stuff. I've noticed that happens in the deli department, where we start getting so much of a backlog that, so technically the stuff that's supposed to be in your bin list is actually on a rocket cart somewhere because there was nowhere to bin it. 3755. 3747. There. $38.37. 36, 38.41, 38.37. Okay. And we actually need to move on to the next one. 38, 37, lavender ultra dark. Fortunately, I work with a pretty good team, so I can be relatively assured that if I go and scan brioche bread, because we're almost out of it, that if we have more, there will be a bin number, and if I go to that bin, it will be there. But as with most of these symptoms, or systems rather, how effective they are is in how well they're used. Some things even auto right now we're in the middle of a rather nasty breakdown because there's nobody at the distribution center who's filling our orders. So our orders just keep getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So that was probably one thing that surprised me. How do I pick myself back up after making a mistake? Well, first of all, I do what a lot of people seem to neglect to do, is apologize. If I've made a boo-boo, I will apologize, and then I will do what I need to make it right. So if it's a cake decorating boo-boo, generally, I will either offer to remake the cake, if they give me, if I have the supplies to do so, which is a little iffy right now. But if I can, I'll offer to remake the cake, if they're willing to wait for a little bit. If I can't, if they're not willing to wait, do have a bag there. Again, these are quite different tie lots. But a little bit of static. I did have a little bit of a problem with static. And I know come on. So, first of all, I apologize if I've made a mistake, and then I do what I can to make it right. If they have the ability, I will ask if I can just $38.41. If I can remake it, I will speed through and remake it as fast as I can and get that done. Depending on the size or complexity of how much I'm going to have to fix, I may contact a manager and see if there's a way they can discount it. Because I don't have the ability to discount it for the inconvenience. But I'm so sorry about that. Do you have a little bit of time? I can remake it. If they don't have the time, I will. The next thing I will do is seek out a manager and see if they can discount it. There's not anything that I can't authorize that. 38.41. I definitely have 38.41. Okay. If I've made a mistake in another way, I again will apologize and do my best to fix it. And try not to let it get to me, because we are all human. We all make mistakes. It's just part of the deal. So sometimes it eats at you, but generally I will also try and figure out why the mistake got made. Was it something that I didn't know? If it was something that I didn't know and therefore need to learn how to do better, then I will try and do that. If there was part of the process if there was a process step that got skipped, I will try to be more aware of that, or try to find a way to make it so that I can't skip that process. I have accidentally made cakes for the wrong day. So what, and I'm not the only one who's done it. Selena's done it too, where you're looking at the day of the week and not necessarily the date. So generally that one doesn't turn out too badly because we have to end up wasting the cake, but they were made in advance. So let's see. Let's say this Friday is July 17th. And I go to make a cake that is actually for the following Friday. Well, we can't keep it for a week and then give it to them. Then it would be past its sell-by date, so we can't do that. We'd end up throwing it out and redoing it the next week. So what Selena and I have started doing is when a cake is ordered and it's not for that coming Friday or Tuesday or whatever have you, if it's not the next day of the week coming up in the next 7 days, then we will take a highlighter and highlight the date so that we pay more attention to the actual date rather than just the drawer that it's put into, because we have a unit that is labeled for day of the week. And it's sometimes easy to mistake that that's not for this coming Friday, because most people who are ordering only a few days in advance. So that's one way where we've tried to figure out how we can stop from doing stupid things. Most of the time, I just fix it. That's one thing about cake decorating is generally most of your mistakes you can fix. Wipe the icing off, put it back on, try again. It's very forgiving in that way. So you make a mistake, you own up to it, try to learn from it, and try to move on. And with that, we are all dekitted. So that is everything from this kit. I think I'm gonna maybe take the Goo Gone to these labels because they did leave a bit of schmutz on my lids. It's not a huge deal, I'm just weird. And got all this stuff to put away. So thank you for joining me. I know this was a long one, dekitting usually is. But thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.